So I have created this HTML file, events explained, and here is the code, events explained. And here I'm going to add a button with the label my button, and I'm going to add some script here. I'm going to define a constant, which is my button, using the document object and the method query selector to select the button by the tag name, button. If you remember correctly, like we did in many parts of this course. Then I'm going to define a function. And this function, I call it random, and I pass a parameter by the name number. And I'm going to return a value here, which is the math.floor, which returns an integer of a number of the product or multiplication of math.random by the number, which is number plus 1. And then I'm going to add an event listener to my click event for my button. So I'm going to add an event or a method to my click event. And I have a arrow function or anonymous function here in curly brackets. I'm going to define a constant, which is an RGB. RGB is a function returning colors. I pass numbers, which are random. I'm using the random function. And then I'm going to change the background color of my document, of my body. And that's it. So now I'm going to see what happened. So I'm going to refresh my page here. And my button, I click on it. I already add the event listener. You see, I'm going to change the background color of my body. With a random number, I'm going to change the color. Okay, here. I'm doing this background color, random color here, which is done by this function, combination of different functions. So I'm going to assign to the event click this function. Okay? So we learned that the mechanism for adding event handlers in web pages, we're going to use the addEventListener method. As simple as that. Inside the addEventListener function, we specify two parameters. The name of the event that we want to register this handle for, and the code that comprises the handle function that we want to run in response to it. And usually, it is better to have the handle function as a separate named function. So rather than this, we give a name of a function, we're going to call it again. It is recommended if you want to use it again and again in other situations. Rather than this, function set background, using this, and I'm going to put this inside. And I'm going to do this. As simple as that. So I'm going to basically command this, because if I want to reuse this function for other events, that's the best method. So I'm going to refresh this page. Okay, and I have this. Okay, now you have to pay attention, because for example, let's say that you want to add this as event listener, and you want to do here alert, this is my new event listener. Alert here, this is my original event listener. So I define this twice. What happened? This is my original event listener. Okay, we have done this, so we can also define this twice.